Welcome. My name is Steve Evers. I'm the Strategic Commissioning Manager for Learning Disabilities at East Sussex County Council. Today I'm going to talk about the East Sussex Supported Accommodation Programme. We felt it was really important to let people know about the good work going on in East Sussex and what, as a partnership group, we've achieved over the last few years. We've been talking to lots of people with learning disabilities about what supported accommodation means to them and consulting with many others. This video will explain what we've done so far. East Sussex already has a range of good supported accommodation available for people, but what we wanted to do is to widen that offer to make sure it was suitable for the widest range of people as possible, maybe those with complex needs or those living in residential care at the moment. An example of this was given to us by one of the people who moved into one of our schemes. Previously, they had a problem when someone living in the scheme felt lonely in the evenings and kept coming around to their flat late at night. They didn't realise that it was too late and sometimes waking people up. They had really good support to agree a way to make sure that this didn't become a big problem for everyone living in the scheme. They now have a rule that we don't knock on each other's doors after 10 PM. This works really well because all of them agreed it together. Co-production and involvement was a key theme throughout the process of developing our schemes in East Sussex. The strong message about assistive technology also came through, that it should be a complementary item to good support, which may reduce support but would not actually replace it. We heard about the benefits of being part of and involved in your local community and how this can affect people's well-being. For example, being able to go to your local shops and clubs and getting to know people in the local area. People told us that it is important to know that you are safe and feel safe. We put together a design brief setting out what type of supported accommodation we needed in East Sussex. We have so far built 3 new supported accommodation schemes: Warwick House in Seaford, Gilder Close in Polegate and Binder Lane in Hailsham. As part of this, we wanted to take into account what people said to us and make it as suitable for as many people as possible. We also wanted to talk to the people that were moving into the new schemes to get their views and experiences of how the move went and what the process was like for them. This video will share those views and experiences.
I'm now thinking that it'd be nice to have my own front door key where I can close the door and I haven't got to share a place.
I first heard about independent living when Helen and Robert, my disabled children, who have lived with us for nearly 50 years now, came had their review, their annual review. And we'd had a very difficult year. My husband's nearly 80, I'm 70, and life was getting tougher. I've always looked after them throughout that time. And I knew that it was the moment to say to Sarah, we're not managing anymore and we need to get something sorted out for Helen and Robert before we're in some kind of crisis situation, plan for them moving on. At that time, Sarah said, well, had you considered independent living for Robert? And I said, well, no, I don't know anything about it, don't know what it is, but it doesn't seem to be the kind of thing that Robert would manage with. And she said, well, do you know, I think he could. Let me tell you something about it.
It was okay. It served its purposes, but there wasn't man-staffed. There was only man-staffed certain hours. And if you wanted someone, you had to ring Lifeline to get assistance to help. The people, the tenants are nice up there, but it was sad to say goodbye to them. But it was just not the right kind of place for me, really.
Jeanette Gallivan-Young. I'm Supported Housing Assessment Officer working for the Housing Commissioning Team for East Sussex County Council. I've been doing that for the past 5 years, and during that time and in my previous work roles I've supported lots of people to move on from their current accommodation to another home. Through this work and experience, we understand that moving from home for the first time or from a residential care home where you might have lived for a number of years can be a really positive and exciting time, but we also know that it can be a worrying time for people, for families and supporters too, and that sometimes people's previous experience of moving may not have been a particularly positive one. There's lots of changes and things to think about: a new environment, new staff, personalising your home and moving belongings. Through the invaluable feedback that we get from our Involvement Matters team, people with a learning disability and their supporters, we've been able to develop a housing and moving toolkit to support people with a learning disability through the move process. So from those people who are starting to think about moving and considering what housing options are available to them, through to those people that have decided to make the move and found a new place to live. The housing toolkit comprises of 4 practical support guides. The first one is called Choosing a Place to Live. This booklet provides information on the different housing and support options available in East Sussex. We heard from our Involvement Matters team that to be able to make an informed or good decision, they also wanted to know about the support that was available, so this was included too. As well as looking at housing and support options, the booklet looks at choices: choosing where to live, living on your own or living with other people, and talks about the experiences of people with a learning disability that have recently moved to supported accommodation. The booklet will answer some of your questions and tell you how you can get more information and who you can contact. The second booklet is a housing transition plan called Moving to My New Home. And this is a person-centred document focusing on moving from one accommodation to another, utilising all available resources. It focuses on what is important to the person and looks at where they will be moving to, what they would like in their new home, and how they keep in touch with important people and get to places they like to visit. It has checklists that help with practical things like the things you might need in your home and who you need to tell you've moved. The third document in the Housing Toolkit is the Easy Read Tenancy Agreement Guide. And for those that have made a decision to move to a home of your own, you may be asked to agree to and sign a tenancy agreement. Some tenancy agreements are in easy read, but others are not, and many people can find these hard to understand. The key areas of a tenancy: your rights and responsibility as a tenant, what your landlord should and shouldn't do, and it also tells you about different types of tenancies. The fourth booklet within the Housing Toolkit is the Appointee and Deputyship Information Guide, and this guide will provide you with basic information on the roles and responsibility of both an appointee and a deputy, including details and signposting for additional information and support.
I had to go decide what you need and what you didn't need. And then I made a list what I needed, so I went to Furniture Now and got it, like my sofa and other stuff. And I had my fridge, freezer and washing machine here when I moved here.
What I found helpful is that the staff at my house, we talked about it a lot, and then we had a meeting last Thursday, and I got to meet everyone and my new key worker called Pam.
We all trundled down, had a look round, and it looked very nice, but I was still absolutely certain that Robert wouldn't make it. But he wanted to. He looked round and we said, well, what do you think, Robert? And he said, yes, I would like to do that. And he talked and talked and talked about it.
When you're making those initial steps on behalf of somebody else, there's all sorts of infrastructure that needs to be put in place, like lasting power of attorney for health and welfare, and stuff like that. We managed to achieve that, which helped, definitely. It's not taking the control away, It's allowing the controls to get the things that are required done. The financial thing was much the same. All the time you're aware what's coming in and going out, you can achieve that balance to make sure funds are available for things like shopping, social activities, bill payments and stuff like that.
We talked about what the differences were with some of my key worker and my manager, and having more freedom, more freedom to do what you want, having more independence. Because I'm quite independent, I like to go out with my friends and meet them in town and go shopping. But I couldn't really do that in my old house. We had to do my big food shop, but usually they did it for us. But I could choose what I wanted, so it's better that I did my own food shop because I like to choose what I like to eat. I don't like to be told what I'm going to eat. I like to choose.
I had to go decide what you need and what you didn't need. And then I made a list what I needed, so I went to furniture now and got it, like my sofa and other stuff. And I had my fridge, freezer and washing machine here when I moved here. It was alright, a bit stressful, a bit scary, but after that I got used to it. I liked it, living on my own and stuff.
And Robert moved in on Wednesday and I closed the door on him and went home absolutely horrified about what I'd done. I felt I'd betrayed him. I thought he'd be on they'd be on the phone the next day to say Robert's had a bad night, but it didn't happen.
I had about 6 people around my house at Park Lane packing up boxes, and it was really quite fun to actually see. But I actually moved in a morning. It took just a morning to move, which was really fun. It was really good to see people gelling together and packing up boxes for me and supporting me to move.
Yeah. Debbie didn't want to appear on this video, but wanted people to see her flat, which she is very proud of. Debbie told us about the changes she has noticed since moving to her new home. I do online shopping. I hate shopping and hate the crowds, so I get it delivered right into my kitchen. Staff help me to order and put it away when it comes. I can no longer carry the heavy stuff, so I get it delivered. I get help to cook and make meals to put in the freezer. I did put my washing away all by myself the other day. It's all about increasing little steps at a time. I've got a pendant to call for help in case of emergencies. I haven't had to use it, but it's also good to know that I've got it just in case. I started going to the gym every week as well. It helps me to keep fit and get stronger again.
I use the communal lounge in the morning to chat and say hello to people, but I can relax in my own flat in the evening as I like to spend time there. I'm also closer to my mum. I felt like I was on my own when I was living in Bexhill for respite. I can go on the train once or twice a week to see her in Eastbourne, and I can call her every day, and Nan too. When we asked Debbie what she enjoyed most about living at Gilder, she said, "There is a pancake shop down the road. I started going there once a week to have pancakes for breakfast, and they really are very nice. I got to know the lady in the shop, and she is very friendly and chatty with me when I go in. I feel like I'm more involved in the community now."
It's more of a home I can decorate as like and how I like. You allow pets. I have a pet, her name's Pinks. She's very wiggly, but she's a year old. And it's a good thing about Workhouse because you allow pets. As long as you speak to the landlord, you don't just take your pet. This is my flat. Timetable to help me to get on with so I know what I'm doing during the week, like housework and laundry, walk, exercise and Autism Sussex, and like the days to see my boyfriend, so I know because it helps me because it's structure and I know what time I have dinner and stuff.
I learned to cook, I learned to do a lot of things, I learned to go out more independently and stuff and just, yeah, be independent.
More freedom, and you can come and go as you want. I have started working on a Monday and a Thursday now. I stepped one day down at Limley Court.
So you're not going as much to the day centre now, but you've started doing more work, I guess, that you enjoy.
So from the first few days, Robert just settled. He didn't complain, he didn't say, "Oh, bring me home." I thought no one could look after Robert as I'd looked after Robert. And to a certain case, of course, that's true, but in many ways, Robert is better looked after here because he's been given his independence. And there's not mum in the background saying, "This is what you should do," and "I don't want you to do that." And I've never given him the opportunity to grow in one sense. He was well looked after. Everything was clean, you know, he was cheerful and happy. But I honestly think he's happier here. He'll come home on a Sunday and have a meal with us. My husband still takes him to his Saturday club, which is a part of the old routine we used to have, and that continues. But the joy for me is the fact that he'll sit down, he'll have a family meal with us, he'll have a glass of wine, which he enjoys, and he'll say, "Oh, that was lovely, that was absolutely delicious." And he says, "But it's time to go back now because I need my hot chocolate." So there's a routine here that Robert likes to go back to.
I'm very happy, and where I was before was very good, but what I've achieved, what all the benefits that I've seen being here makes me realise that I'm glad where I am now. It's also making sure that you have the money to pay your bills and to make sure that you've got enough money to cover everything. I did have a few little slip-ups, but here, and since those two little hiccups, I've actually managed to pay all my bills, and I've actually managed to save some, and everything.
It's a nice place to live here, and you learn more skills. I go to work on the train on my own. I go to St Nick's on the train on my own. If I want to go have a day out to Lewis on my own, I can. You can go and see your parents if you want to, and the parents can come down and see you. My dad said he likes it, and my mum said he likes it.
He's definitely settled here and become more independent in his environment because of the help he gets. Where he said, "Why don't you come over and we can eat a takeaway on the roof terrace?" Things like that for me I find most rewarding. That wouldn't have happened at home with other siblings. We wouldn't have been able to do that without this accommodation. The accommodation speaks for itself here. At home we probably tended to do more for him than we needed to, whereas here he's making the cups of tea.
Having their own independence is important. The importance of having, you can go out when you want, you can have visitors when you want. I mean, for instance, last week I had a few visitors stay with me, and that was really nice.
They're promoting and growing in independence, but with that accepting the support from staff. We work very much on a person-centred programme and looks at their support plans which they come in with from the local authority, and then we work with the service users to come up with a plan and the support that they require in the hours that they need.
Today's Tuesday.
That's good. Well, you've got to put down what you're having for tonight's dinner. Have you got that out or not?
Let's have a look at your support plan to see what you're doing.
If I have issues, I can speak to the manager here. There's always that approachability with all the staff. The support team have put an awful lot of work in here, and they've had to adapt with people coming in, which I think they've done really well. They've sorted problems out before they become an issue.
The staff have been very supportive and very happy to talk through any issues that might arise. And there have been issues because obviously I know Robert very well and they know him less well, but I think they very quickly got to understand Robert and his needs and his autism and his, when he says one thing, what he means. And I thought no one would understand that like I do, but they actually do. We've had issues that needed resolving, but they have been resolved through discussions. I think issues with washing machine. He likes electronic things, so he had a fiddle with the central heating. But none of them, I was never made to feel that they were big issues by the staff, which was reassuring for me because that would have upset me and worried me. They would say, oh well, this has happened and we need to sort it out. Yeah. But I never felt that I need to worry about them sorting it out because they'd say, it's just a minor thing. On the whole, he settled in brilliantly and these are things that we just need to work through and find a way of coping with them so that it works for the staff and for Robert.
from flat 7 to the communal lounge. We're just in the hallway at the corridor. Just passing all the other flats that are downstairs. There's more of the garden.
This is the office.
This is our office. Our staff office. As you can see, there's pictures on the door on the outside of all our staff. This is our notice board. There's about our house meetings that we have once every 3 weeks on a Sunday. And now we're just in our communal lounge where we play games and we talk, or we do just talk and listen to music. And now we're just in our communal kitchen. So this is for the staff when they need to cook dinners in the evening as well.
Or when we have meals.
And when we have our communal dinners together.
We go down there to meet our friends and have a chat. You're allowed to go and watch. You're allowed to watch telly. We sometimes have Christmas meals. We have parties. Today we're having pancakes because it's pancake day. But we go down there to socialise, and if you don't want to, you can go to your flat if you don't want to socialise.
I'd say give it a go. Staff and teams are flexible to work with you to achieve the goals for you to live as independently as possible.
First thing I would do is for you to actually come and visit and look at the place first of all, get to meet some of the people, and mainly for you to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I say don't be shy.
I think it's worth giving it a try, because if it works, it really is very successful. And I've seen Robert blossom here, really.
I think you should always talk to staff if you've got a problem, because they'll always try their best to help you, and it'll be a really positive experience for you to move forward in your life.
Look at it as a positive. It won't necessarily be plain sailing from start to finish, as there may be obstacles along the way. You'll see the benefit from a parental point of view. I'm pleased after a year that he's in this environment.
It's a nice place for people to come and get their own skills, and they like it. I reckon it's a go ahead. You'll like it because you get your own space.
Every single person that's come through here, friends, family, or my mum, loves it to pieces. They really do. They feel peaceful here. They feel really, really happy.
Finally, I'd like to thank all of the people who made this video possible. The people living at Warwick House and Gilder Close, as well as the staff and family members who were also instrumental in making this happen. Thank you.